So let's talk about solving multi-step equations. Now, multi-step is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to have, 2, 3, 4. You could have an infinite amount of steps to do. So let's talk about some basic rules, if you will, when you go about solving these multi-step equations. Well, one of the best rules you can follow is every time you look at an equation, see if you can simplify it. Can you make it easier? So look at the left side and look at the right and see if there's anything you can do. Well, it looks like over here on the left side that we can do some simplifying. Like for instance, I notice that I have a 3 here and a 4 here, and I can add those together and I get 7. And then here I know it says minus, but let's treat this like a negative. You have a negative 2x and a 6x. Let's combine those together. And so I'll get 4x. Okay, so now once I've done that, it makes it look a lot nicer, a lot neater, and now it's just hopefully simpler. And so what would be next? Well, I'm going to subtract 7. So we get 4x equals 11, and then divide by 4. So x equals, now 4 doesn't divide into 11, no big deal. You can leave it as 11/4, or if you want, you could divide it. 4 goes into 11 twice, and then there's 3 left over. Okay, so like I said, one of the biggest things that you can do first in any type of equation is simplify it first. So let's take a look at this second one. Okay, can I simplify? Well, hopefully you're not tempted to do 5 minus 3 and make that 2. Okay, instead, hopefully what you notice is that you have to do this distributing first, because order of operations says you multiply before you subtract. So we got to distribute that in. That's a pretty common mistake right there. You'll see that a lot on state testing and things like that. And so when I do that, I get 5. Now you're not distributing the 3, you're distributing a negative 3. So it becomes plus negative 3x plus negative 6 equals negative 1. And now as I look at it, I see there's even more simplifying I can do. I can combine this 5 and the negative 6. If I combine 5 and negative 6, I get negative 1. Okay, so now we're down to a two-step equation. I'm going to add 1 to get negative 3x equals 0. And last but not least, I'm going to divide by negative 3. X equals 0. And there you go. Okay, so let's finish up with this last one here. Now, this last one, you actually have a couple things that you could do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that rule that I said was simplifying, and I notice up on top of this big fraction here is I can distribute again, so I'm going to. So I'm going to get 3x plus 3 over 4 equals 7. Now here's kind of an exception to a rule I stated in a previous video, and that was you want to undo your add or subtract before multiply and divide. And because you notice there's a plus 3 right here, but I can't really get to it because it's in this fraction. So what I'm going to do is get rid of that fraction. And since it's divided by 4, I'm going to multiply by 4. And I do that because now these cancel. And now I have 3x plus 3 equals 28. Then I'm going to subtract my 3. 3x equals 25. And divide by 3. X equals, and again, 3 doesn't go into 25 evenly, but it does go in 8 times, and you'd have 1 left over. And there you go. There is solving multi-step equations.